women are kind of trapped in the choice of either working full-time outside of the house or not working at all. When I had my daughter in 2005 and approaching my boss saying, hey, I really want to work part-time from home, and him saying no, and then having to figure out, all right, I'm passionate, like I think this is what I need to do. And what I thought was just gonna be a temporary bridge to staying at home just worked year after year after year. I wanted to write a book for like 4 years before I did it, but then I really didn't want to write a book too. It wouldn't go away. I had talked myself out of it for so long. You know, we're busy, right? I'm a business owner, a mom, like the time it takes to create something when you're not a writer anyway just felt very overwhelming. That coupled with the idea of, I didn't create remote work. I'm not the first person to talk about work-life integration, like who cares, right? And in talking with somebody at the conference, she said, yes, but the world hasn't heard your story and your voice, and that's what's needed. And so honestly, it was like a get over yourself, Shannon, kind of moment to say, like, I'm actually not writing it for me, I'm writing it for people who need to be inspired to make a change. I would come across ideas and just start jotting them down, and I had this like running Word document of randomness. But that was really as far as I got. It was just really hard to get it going. Because for me, like I was trying to write it for too many people. I was writing it for, a potential contractor, fellow business owners, moms, dads, everybody, and it was just a mess. Finding you guys was like a missing piece of the puzzle. Like I had the idea, I had finally the determination that it was gonna happen, and then I needed you to come alongside and do the execution of it. I think our team was too close to it, and it's tricky when you're the boss because people agree with you even if it's not a great idea. And so I needed somebody from the outside to say, okay, you're trying to talk to too many people, let's narrow this down. Or this doesn't really seem to flow, or you know what you're saying, but you have to think about it from the audience's perspective. Like there's a disconnect. Like that kind of appropriate pushback was huge. The other thing I liked too was that it was gonna be mine at the end of it. And I wasn't going through like, trying to position it with a publisher and having like all that stuff. Like at the end of the day, the content was mine, and that's what I wanted because we wanted to be able to use it for marketing purposes for our company. The last Zoom video chat that I had with Jeanette, we both just kind of cried, which I don't know if you hear that from your authors much, but it was just such a release of like all these ideas that had been floating around in my head. And then there was this physical manuscript that I was holding. And I also knew like that was the last time I was gonna have another call with her to go through the revisions. And she was so incredible that was the most visceral part of this process for me, was that final call with her. So typically in any given month, we'll get about 1,200 resumes of people who want to be a contractor with us. It doubled last month in large part because of the book. I can tell you right now, there are probably 15 podcasts I would have never been asked to be on had I not written this book. Nothing else changed. Still the CEO, still founded the company with Brian. I would have never been given those opportunities without the credibility of the book. Traditionally in our business, we've never wanted it to be about Brian and I. My husband and I own our company together. We've never wanted it to be the Brian and Shannon show, but the truth is, people want to connect with owners and CEOs and founders, and putting yourself out there personally matters. And so I feel like people have treated me differently in the sense of, I finally know who she is. I finally have some context for how she came on this journey. Because, a successful business, you can see somebody's snapshot in time and think, oh, well, lucky them, isn't that great, But the reality is there's years of hard work and failure and debt that accumulate to this moment of success, hopefully, right? And so I think it humanized me in a lot of ways, which was the scary part about doing it, but has also been so rewarding. So one of the podcasts that I was on, the host was doing a tour in Australia. And in doing so, he came across this family that found his podcast through their Tesla, right? Like, how random is that? Like, they were just scrolling through the streaming and found this podcast and listened to my episode, and it inspired the wife to start her own business all the way in Australia, right? Didn't read the book, but because of the opportunities afforded from it, like, life change. The coolest part about it is that's only a story that I know. There are probably so many more that I don't, and I love that.